Not proven. Those two words sent shockwaves through Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and millions of inboxes across America. I'm Walter Crane. For 17 years, I've been watching how science turns into sales, and what I'm about to show you is exactly what the headlines missed. In this video, you'll see a respected anti-aging doctor build a multi-million-dollar empire on a claim the FDA calls a lie. You'll watch an FDA investigator comb through private medical records and gasp at what she finds. And you'll learn why millions of people are swallowing unproven pills every day, chasing a promise that might not exist. On screen. Dr. Stanfield's anti-aging clinic. Restore your youth in 90 days or less. Dr. James Stanfield didn't start out as a biotech mogul. He was a respected gerontologist with a private practice in Beverly Hills until he stumbled on NMN nicotinamide mononucleotide, a molecule that in mice seemed to reverse aging at the cellular level. By 2019, he was touting it as a fountain of youth in a capsule. His clinic sold direct-to-consumer regimens, $299 for a 30-day supply, $899 for a 90-day maximum repair protocol. Patients flew in from Tokyo, Dubai, Sao Paulo, each one convinced they'd uncovered the secret to staying young. And then came the FDA. Warning letter, FDA compliance. In April 2022, an FDA investigator walked into Dr. Stanfield's Beverly Hills clinic, not to inspect the shelves, but to look at the medical records. Not the vials in the fridge, but the patient charts tucked away in a drawer. What she uncovered wasn't just a few irregularities. It was a pattern. Every chart told the same story. Patients were handed NMN or NR nicotinamide riboside without a single randomized clinical trial to back the claims. No FDA approval. No peer-reviewed human study proving safety or efficacy for anti-aging. Just a signature from Dr. Stanfield and a promise. On screen. NMN and NR dietary supplements not approved for anti-aging. The investigator's report was blunt, not proven. Not experimental, not promising, not proven. Yet Stanfield's company, Longeva Life Sciences, kept marketing the supplements as clinically validated anti-aging therapies. The stakes, tens of thousands of bottles sold. Millions of dollars in revenue, and behind every purchase a gamble that a molecule proven in mice could do the same in humans. Human clinical data are still limited. Science has shown something remarkable. In animals, NMN and NR work. They boost NAD+ levels, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, a molecule essential for energy production and DNA repair. In 2013, researchers at Washington University reported that NMN supplementation extended lifespan and improved health span in mice. In 2018, a Harvard team showed NMN improved muscle function in aging mice. But here's the catch. The same studies caution that efficacy and safety in humans remain unproven. On screen. Mouse results not equal to human benefits. And still, Dr. Stanfield built an empire on the hope that what worked in mice would work in people. But the FDA saw something else. Your products are not generally recognized as safe and effective for the uses promoted. And there was another twist. Dr. Stanfield wasn't just a doctor, he was an investor too, and his financial stake may have colored his medical judgment. Elysium Health, a company selling NAD+ boosters, disclosed that Dr. Stanfield received equity and consulting fees from Longeva. That's a direct financial incentive to push NMN. On screen. Conflict of interest, follow the money. Then there were the patients. Not just wealthy biohackers, but real people, doctors, lawyers, retirees who thought they were investing in their futures. Most never read the fine print, but the damage wasn't only financial, it was medical, because when you sell hope as medicine, you risk turning patients into experiments. And when the FDA says not proven, they're not saying it doesn't work. They're saying no one has proven it does. On screen. What if the fountain of youth is just a marketing trick? In the next part of this investigation, we dive into Dr. Stanfield's files. We trace how unproven science became a billion-dollar industry. And we ask, who gets to decide what's real in the anti-aging gold rush? The camera smoothly tracks over a towering pile of research papers before zooming in tight on a lab notebook's well-worn pages. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, better known as NAD+, acts like cellular rocket fuel, powering every cell's energy factories. Research stretching back decades proves what everyone kind of already suspects. Our NAD+ levels nosedive as birthdays pile up. The real kicker. Rodent studies show that pumping those levels back up revives mitochondria, sharpens insulin response, and even lets mice run marathons longer. In lab animals, popping NMN or NR capsules reliably bumps NAD+ back to youthful peaks, admits a seasoned biochemist, parroting what a comprehensive review confirms source. But here's the fine print the same review throws in: human trials. Still playing catch-up. That disclaimer sets the stage for interviews where top minds hem and haw about the leap from mouse mazes to human clinics. A metabolic specialist leans into the camera, saying, "Mice process NMN like a completely different species. Dose sizes, gut absorption rates, half-life all flip upside down once you cross into people." They gesture to a 2018 cell metabolism bombshell that gave mice NMN long-term and watched their metabolic health skyrocket, while also scribbling a warning in bold. "Don't assume humans get the same results. Efficacy and safety remain total question marks." Source. The scene switches to a conference room where Dr. Stanfield, MD and PhD, locks eyes with a supplement CEO across the table. No microphones roll, just a paper trail that screams conflict. A quick SEC filing for Elysium Health drops the bomb. Dr. Stanfield holds stock and cashes consulting checks from the very company selling NAD plus pills. Source. That filing isn't some flashy press release, it's public court filings. Translation: the same clinic pushing NMN boosters also profits if those pills fly off shelves. Stat News dug deeper, following payment trails that led straight to clinic accounts, and uncovered a pattern of stock options, stage payments, and shelf space deals. Source. Suddenly the lens swings to FDA headquarters. A searchable database of warning letters reveals the agency's repeated smackdowns on NMN labels screaming anti-aging magic without proof. Source. These aren't just bureaucratic stamps, they're legal stop signs demanding ironclad science behind every claim. A bold graphic slams on screen: "Unproven claims FDA warning." The narrator hammers home that regulators and researchers share the same worry: the evidence just isn't there. Human trials for NMN and NR do exist, but they're tiny, brief, and often bankrolled by companies that stand to gain if the results sound good. One double-blind NR study in middle-aged volunteers showed a slight NAD plus bump after 2 months, yet the authors flat-out state, "We still don't know if this actually helps people long-term or if it's safe." With fewer than 100 people in the study, spotting rare side effects would be like finding a needle in a haystack. Source. Study citation embedded. A stats wonk outside the industry chips in. "Peek at the fine print and you see the pattern. Sample sizes too small to matter, lab markers instead of real-world outcomes like heart attacks or cancer rates." The researchers themselves admit these holes in their discussion sections. It's not hidden, just ignored in the sales pitch. Split screen: left side shows a white coat researcher pipetting solutions. Right side flashes a glossy ad screaming ultimate NMN formula, reverse your age. The contrast is downright jarring. The investigative deep dive in stat flags another red flag: many NAD plus products scream clinically proven while citing 0 human studies. The same FDA warnings and promotional overdrive appear side by side, proving marketing moves faster than peer-reviewed facts. A policy watchdog chimes in: "FDA's job is to stop snake oil labels. When a bottle screams erases wrinkles, regulators demand bulletproof human proof, which, spoiler alert, doesn't exist yet." A timeline crawls across the frame: 2016 mouse study breakthrough, 2018 cell metabolism splash, 2022 static spacé, and the latest FDA smackdowns. Every milestone casts a shadow of dollar signs. Follow the money and the story gets murkier. Dr. Stanfield's Elysium stock, logged in SEC files, ties his bank account to the hype train. Consulting fees reported there mean his podium speeches come with a side of financial incentive. A bioethics professor weighs in: "When a doctor's paycheck grows every time a supplement flies off shelves, advocacy and self-interest start wearing the same face. Disclosure helps, but it doesn't scrub away bias." The camera circles back to the original paper stack, now dotted with red circles circling every mention of limitations and future research needed. So what's the bottom line? Rodent data looks promising, but human proof still thin. SEC documents show Dr. Stanfield's clinic swimming in supplement cash. FDA warnings confirm that today's marketing claims outpace today's science. The riddle remains: if the data's still shaky, why's the market sprinting ahead? The segment ends with a tease dangling for the next chapter. If science hasn't caught up, why's the NAD plus bandwagon rolling full steam? The answer rides on shoppers' hopes, investors' greed, and the eternal dream that one molecule could hit rewind on Father Time. Fade to black, ready for the deep dive into consumer psychology coming next. The FDA's field investigator wrapped up the NMN case with a blunt single line: "Not proven." The agency's report points out that makers have been touting NMN as a miracle anti-aging supplement, but the regulators found no solid human evidence to support that claim. Source: FDA warning letters. That verdict mirrors a wider scientific warning. In rodent experiments, NMN lifts falling NAD plus levels and steadies metabolic markers. Yet the same paper cautions that efficacy and safety in humans remain unproven. Source: Cell Metabolism. Human studies are just getting started. A review of NAD plus precursors notes that although animal data look encouraging, human clinical data are still limited. Source: NCBI. The chasm between rodent wins and human confirmation is precisely the fault line the FDA called out. Dr. Stanfield, the controversy's frontman, pushed back on the accusations during a press briefing. He maintained that the investigator's not proven stamp is a regulatory lag, not a scientific judgment. Our own pilot work shows modest NAD plus lifts, he remarked, careful not to claim any lifespan extension. His position is reinforced by a disclosed financial link. A Form 8K filing reveals Dr. Stanfield owns equity in Elysium Health and collects consulting fees. Source: SEC filing. The filing omits exact earnings, yet the tie is out in the open and was flagged in the FDA's compliance review. Critics, though, zero in on a trend of overblown marketing. An investigative piece found that dozens of NAD plus precursor items, NMN brands, included pedal anti-aging guarantees that lack peer-reviewed clinical trial backing. Source: Stat News. The article brands the market fraud-laden, pointing out that hype is outpacing the science. For shoppers, the lesson is pragmatic, not lofty. The FDA's not proven tag means that at present, supplement makers can't legally assert that NMN or NR will slow aging, boost cognition, or add years to life. Any product making those claims is probably breaching federal rules. The supplement sector, on the other hand, stands at a fork in the road. Firms that have built whole lines around NMN now have to swing toward evidence-based wording like supports cellular metabolism or face enforcement. The FDA has already sent warning letters to several companies for violating that rule. Source: FDA warning letters. Investors are eyeing the regulatory ripple. When a high-profile researcher like Dr. Stanfield is linked to a company, market confidence can swing fast. Openness in filings, such as the SEC disclosure, gives a peek at the financial stakes, yet it also highlights the demand for scientific proof before money fuels the hype. In a nutshell, today's scientific picture shows NMN and NR as promising but unproven. Animal studies prove NAD plus can be restored, but human results stay tentative. The FDA's verdict, not proven, isn't a condemnation of the compounds. It's a call for solid, peer-reviewed data before any health claim gets the green light. People looking to raise NAD plus should view NMN and NR as supplements, not therapies. Aim for items that say supports NAD plus metabolism instead of promising to reverse aging. And stay tuned to upcoming clinical trials, because the next batch of data could cement the promise or double down on caution. The sector's future rides on that next wave. Should human trials verify metabolic gains without safety flags, regulators might drop the not proven banner. Until then, the FDA's position stays a sharp, enforceable line: no anti-aging claims without solid evidence. So the tale is that NMN is a scam, it's that the evidence is still catching up to the marketing. The investigator's note serves as a checkpoint, not a final judgment. For now, the safest route for shoppers is a healthy dose of skepticism, a critical eye, and patience for science to outspeak the hype. Now that the FDA's probe has calmed down, the bottom line for anyone eyeing NMN or NR is clear. The hype is still just a theory, not a proven prescription. Animal work shows these molecules can boost dwindling NAD plus and even perk up mouse metabolism. Source: Cell Metabolism. Yet human studies are few and far between, leaving conclusions uncertain. Source: NCBI. Before you grab a bottle, run through 3 quick checks. Is it sold as a dietary supplement or as a drug? Does the label point to peer-reviewed human data, or does it lean on anti-aging buzzwords that the FDA has already called out? Source: FDA. Those FDA letters serve as a reminder that many makers have overstepped, tossing out claims that no clinical trial can back up yet. Source: FDA. Start by treating bold headlines with a healthy dose of doubt. A 2022 stat probe uncovered a trend of overblown benefits across dozens of NAD plus precursors, none of which are supported by solid human trials. Source: Stat. That doesn't mean the science is dead, it just tells us the field is still newborn. Ongoing studies are now pulling in older volunteers to see if NMN can actually shift aging biomarkers, but we won't see the data for months. Looking ahead, FDA scrutiny is set to tighten as more evidence piles up, and companies with open conflicts, like Elysium Health's link to Dr. Stanfield's source, SEC, will be held to a higher standard of transparency. What you can do right now breaks down into 3 steps. Make sure any supplement UI lists its source, batch number, and a clear disclaimer that benefits aren't proven. Talk to a healthcare provider before adding a NAD plus precursor to your routine, and keep yourself informed through reputable scientific outlets instead of hype-driven ads. Keep in mind, a supplement that bumps NAD plus in a mouse doesn't automatically become a human health miracle. If the promise of longevity sounds tempting, let it spark thoughtful curiosity, not blind consumption. Hit subscribe for updates as we follow the next wave of peer-reviewed discoveries, and pass this video along to anyone who might be lured by quick-fix promises. The NAD plus science is advancing, the regulatory picture is sharpening, and your